Nikola Jokic had just won his second MVP in a row after another superb season. This was easily his best season yet. The man was dominant last year. In fact, he was so dominant, he was literally playing better than a prime Shaquille O'Neal. Now, I get this seems outrageous. How is this guy more dominant than this guy? When you look deeper at the numbers, the results will shock you. You're probably thinking that there's absolutely no way that Nikola Jokic is more dominant than prime Shaquille O'Neal. Absolutely nobody even stood a chance against Shaq. He just overpowered every opponent he faced. Jokic does not receive the same fear from opponents. The NBA had to implement certain rule changes simply because Shaq was too dominant. So how on earth is Nikola Jokic more dominant than prime Shaq? Jokic can brutally overpower his opponents the way Shaq did. However, dominance is not only expressed by overpowering your opponents in the paint. Dominance can also be shown by skills in all aspects of basketball. Stephen Curry can be considered dominant for his spectacular three-point shooting. Kobe Bryant showed dominance with his ability to take over in the clutch. Nikola Jokic is dominant because of his elite basketball IQ and decision making. The question is, does Nikola Jokic's elite decision making outperform Shaq's brute strength in the paint? Shaq's best season was the 1999-2000 NBA season. That year, Shaq averaged 29.7 points per game. The man could not be stopped offensively. Nikola Jokic was not as good as a scoring threat as Shaq, but Jokic is still very impactful at the offensive end. Glancing back at 2000, Shaq had an offensive box plus minus of 7.3, which was the highest in the NBA. This year, Nikola Jokic had an unreal offensive box plus minus of 9.2. As you can see, Jokic was so good offensively this year, he was even more impactful than Shaq. Sure, Shaq clearly seems like a better offensive player than Jokic, as the opposing team's only game plan was to send Shaq to the free throw line. However, Jokic does all the little things on the offensive end, like finding the cutters and the open man. These crucial contributions tend to go unnoticed, while the typical Shaq plays like dunks and blocks always made every highlight reel. Nonetheless, the numbers show that Nikola Jokic's elite passing and decision making outperforms Shaq's sheer dominance in the post. Looking at the defensive end, you think Shaq will be a better defender. Shaq did average 3 blocks per game compared to Jokic's 1 block per game. So Shaq is a better defender. Well, the purpose of defense is to stop the other team from getting the basket, and defense is not only shown by swatting shots out of the building. Nikola Jokic had a defensive box plus minus of 4.5, and Shaq only had a defensive box plus minus of 2. Jokic may not seem like he is an elite defender. He does not send shots across the gym the way Shaq did. However, Jokic is a very smart defender, and he has an amazing feel for the game, and he is always at the right place at the right time to force a missed shot. Even though Shaq is a better shot blocker and players feared attacking the basket when he was in the paint, however, the numbers clearly prove that Jokic is more impactful defensively. Of course, there are still arguments in favor of Shaq, one such being Shaq led his team to multiple championships while Jokic and the Nuggets lost the first round in 5 games this year. The Lakers were not better than the current Nuggets simply because of Shaq. They had an infinitely better roster. Shaq played with Kobe Bryant, who was an MVP candidate in his own right during the Kobe-Shaq 3P era. On the other hand, Jokic's best teammate this season was Aaron Gordon. There's really no comparison here. Another factor to consider is who's better at leading their team to victory on an individual game basis. We can see that Jokic is better than Shaq at leading his team to a W using win shares. Shaq contributed 0.283 win shares per 48 minutes in 2000, and Jokic contributed 0.296 win shares per 48 minutes this season. Yes, Shaq is definitely more a winner than Jokic in the overall sense. Shaq literally has 4 rings rings, and Jokic has none. But on an individual game basis, it's a different story. Additionally, Jokic literally became the new all-time leader in box plus minus and the new all-time leader in player efficiency rating. Jokic also led his team in assists while being the center. Given that, it is no surprise that Jokic is better at leading his team to victory on an individual game basis. Taken all together, who is the greater player? Shaq. He certainly accomplished more in his career than Jokic and has the accolades to prove it. But when you look at who is more statistically dominant in their prime, the edge goes to Jokic. The numbers speak for themselves. When comparing Jokic this year and Shaq in 2000, whether it's on the offensive end, defensive end, or win shares, Jokic not only competes with Shaq, he almost towers over him. That is why I say Nikola Jokic is more dominant than prime Shaq. But hey, maybe you don't agree. Why not watch this video?
Love fest that has broken out here at Staples. Oh.